Hello, my name is Western Chef, and let's talk about the Battle for Guinness BG strategy. Well, first of all, I think the start of how I came about talking for this BG strategy came about in Random Battlegrounds. In Random Battlegrounds, I had there was unfortunately a lot of bad strategies being put out. Specifically on the Alliance side, the strategy of LH and mines is really a fail thing, and in fact, it's such a fail strategy that the overwhelming majority of the time you will lose. And I want to talk about a winning strategy for the Battle for Guinness. Let's talk about it. A good winning strategy for this BG involves two parts. One is the opener, and the second is the continuance. The opener consists of two individuals going to Lighthouse and the rest going to Waterworks. And the reason for this is simple. It gives us equal footing with the Horde. The Horde will cap mines, and we're going to cap Lighthouse. And the fight over Waterworks is easier than to try to cap something that the Horde has already done. It's easier also to retreat to Lighthouse than it is to mines. The Horde has to cross the water for Waterworks, where the allies really don't have to do that. That gives us about a 2-second advantage from start to capping the flag, and it can even be a bigger advantage when an ally character goes around the river and does some type of crowd control where they can fear the group or they can put roots or something of that nature. The second part, and that's the opener, the second part of the strategy is called the continuance. Once you have Lighthouse and Waterworks, you want to float between Lighthouse and Waterworks. And it's very, very important for individuals to call incomings early and not to call false ones. For example, 2 or 3 going to Lighthouse, but then all of a sudden 7 people going to Waterworks. So don't say everyone's going to Lighthouse when only 2 or 3 Hordes are coming in. That's a fail strategy. I want to talk about why don't you want to go to mines? Why is LH and mines such a fail strategy? Well, mines is an open node, and it's really easy to prevent a cap. Furthermore, the Horde is going to have 2 graveyards almost right on top of the actual node. It's the ship and the actual mine graveyard that they spawn from. It's also easier to get dragged away from the mines, from the node, rather than LH or Waterworks. Even though all 3 of these mines are considered open node, you have more obstacles in Lighthouse and Waterworks, whereas in mines you don't. It's a much more open environment, and you can shoot through things. You can shoot through over the little walls. You can shoot over the little hut thing that comes over. And the other reason why going from Lighthouse to mines strategy is not very good is it brings us very far from our own graveyard. We're going to have our beginning graveyard and Lighthouse graveyard. And you have to run from there all the way back to mines. That's a long time. Let's talk about the geography a little bit. Lighthouse and Waterworks are open nodes, but they have LOS points. You can hide around certain objects. You can go into huts. You can use certain objects such as the boats at Lighthouse, or you can let me see here. You can even use some of the terrain in Waterworks to your advantage. Let's talk about the buildings. The buildings are quite, I'd say they add a unique flavor to this battleground, whereas in most of the buildings in other battlegrounds are open. This battleground, they're closed, meaning that, for example, in AB, when you go to a building, generally speaking, like a lumber mill, it's open, it's wide, you can see through it. In the blacksmith on AB, you have 2 openings and you can see right through the building at blacksmith. Whereas here in Battle of Guinness, You only have one opening. You can hide in. You can actually hide in a building fairly easily. And if you have stuff, you can get in there. Let the opponent take it. Let the opponent run away, and then just stealth cap. When it comes to mines, we don't have any buildings like that. It's an open node, and there's almost no geography movement barriers, meaning there's really not many walls or anything of that nature to create an LOS. The mines also brings a unique difficulty to stealth capping because of its open nature. It's really difficult to stealth cap, and I think it's one of the hardest nodes to actually stealth cap of all the BGs. Another unique flavor I want to talk about real quickly is an alternative strategy or an alternative tactic of going from the ship to lighthouse using the water. It is theoretically possible to use elixirs or if you're a hunter, a water walking pet, or a DK, use frost in order to walk around the mountain to LH. That is a very unique, I don't want to use the word unique, but it's a rare thing to see. But it can catch allied players and allied BG groups off guard because it's not used. It's not a novel thing, but it's so much underused that if done properly, if actually executed correctly, it will change the nature of the game. So people who defend Lighthouse, you need to be aware not only can people come in from waterworks and over the hill from mines, but they can also come over from the water. Let's talk about power-ups. Yeah, each node has a alternating power-up, the Berserker, the Heal, or the Speed. Again, you want to be able to you want to take away any Heal or Berserking power-ups and just leave the Speed one. That's probably the best one if you're a defender. And if you're the actual attacking force, you want to take the power-up and you don't want to have the Speed. Let's talk about the stats and achievements for this battleground. There's some real fun ones, such as the Rainbow. You're underneath the rainbow, which is in the waterworks area, to do that. Very simple ones. Other ones are to kill players. Some are to defend or capture nodes, and of course you have your standard 100 wins. The hardest one will either be to take 3 nodes 10 times and win, or to kill 10 players at each place. That could have some difficulty. However, I got the Master of Gilneas simply by running. If you run enough randoms for Battle of Gilneas, you eventually will get all the cheese as long as you stay focused on getting your cheese and not doing it haphazardly by getting off track and just playing, but rather focusing on trying to do some of the achievements. You should get it. Let's also talk about, right now you're looking at a failed Battle of Gilneas game here. And that's because they wanted to go mines, and that's ridiculous. So I want to be really honest with you. The start out going from LH and mines, you have almost a little more than 95% loss rate. You will lose the game almost 95% of the times. That's less than 1 in 20 that you'll win. It's such a ridiculous amount, and that's because of the overwhelming advantage that the Horde will have. Because of the 2 graveyards, the open geography, the difficulty of stealth capping, even be able to call incomings because of the open geography, no line of sights. That's the big thing. Waterworks for the Horde is much more difficult to take than it is for the Alliance because they have to cross the river or they have to go around onto the top of the ledge, which where you see right now is right behind me. There's a ledge where the Horde can run up to and then cross right into by jumping off the ledge into waterworks. But they have to cross the river, whereas allied characters don't at the beginning. I mean, that's a major advantage, and that also focuses the Horde into a Pacific zone in the Pacific area, and you can use that to your advantage by casting a crowd control spell, mass crowd control spell such as Fear or Roots or something of that nature, and you can easily take 6 or 7 Hordes out very quickly, capture the node, and then start your target calling. Let's see here. Let's also talk about the Noob Hill area. That is that's the that's the hill between that's directly between Lighthouse and Mines. Do not stand on this hill for the love of God. That hill, there's a hill that you normally would pass through to go from that node from LH node to Mines node. Everybody in the world on this battleground can see that hill. You can see it from Lighthouse. You can see it from Mines. You can even see it from Waterworks, and you can see it from almost anywhere on the map. It's very difficult not to see that hill. And anyone who's standing on it, you can people can see you, but if you stand on the hill, you can't see them. Meaning you're not going to be able to easily discriminate what's happening in Waterworks if you're on Noob Hill. You might be able to see a little bit on Mines and LH, but not that much. But people can see you on Noob Hill, but people on Noob Hill can't see you. That's the general rule that I have, and that's an obvious place for rogues. It's an obvious place for traps, for hunters, or anything like that. Anybody that wants to do any hunting to kill off laggers or fighting on the roads. It's a very foolish thing to stay on the hill. The much more effective thing would be to go around the hill. Either whether you're on land, go around it. Use the actual river and run across the river. Of course, you're almost fighting on the roads, but that would be much more effective than actually standing on the actual hill. Let's see here. Let's talk about some hideaways very quickly here before we're done. You can hide on the Waterworks area. There's a little dock area. You can actually dive into the water and go quite far down, save yourself, eat up, use bandages, pots, and then come back and fight. You can also hide. It's very easy to hide in the shacks. And because of the open area, it's easier to move around if you're stealthy for Mines. So that's a little bit about hiding and a little bit of the things here. So remember, for random battlegrounds, the winning strategy is Lighthouse and Waterworks. Never, almost never, Lighthouse and Mines. Here I'm going to show you a little bit of the player score. No, I should be popping up. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I'm going to show you how many times I've actually ran it. It's well over 100, and I do generally win Battle for Guinness, and that's because of the Lighthouse and Waterworks strategy. It's really a winning win for Ally in random battlegrounds. And of course, I want to show you that I have all the achievements associated with that. And I want to say this is Western Jeff signing out for Battle of Guinness. Thanks for watching.